That's the host spot.
And we're live. Hello and welcome to the, what are we up to? 109th episode of Game Theory Gang. I'm Maddie ALLin with Brisology, ChrispyMan of Hexfire.io, and the great Tobiwan Hexobi. He'll be joining us shortly.
Is it just me or is it getting hot in here?
Yeah.
It's
I'm on fire.
I think the chat is going to be on fire tonight.
Not fire. Break out those fire extinguishers, man. Get ready. Get the water ready.
Yeah, why do you say that, Brisology?
Well, I don't know. Do we want to wait for Toby, or do we not care about his opinion on anything? Just kidding.
I care about Toby's opinion deeply.
Just kidding, Toby. I know you're probably listening. He'll be here shortly.
Fire's on fire.
Oh yeah.
Christopher, bring the fire.
I love that
Tony.
guy. Christopher, the Black Richard Hart. That guy's great.
Respect.
Much respect.
Meltoni hooking up the price.
Thank God for Meltoni.
Yeah, I mean I've got two like pretty intense topics tonight. I do hope that Tobiwan can make it. I do want to talk about.
Well, let's be clear. Let's be clear. They're not my problems, right? So I'm really excited to participate because it'll be like a vacation. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, maybe finally I won't be under the aim of the enemy for once.
But
I do have some pretty big news. I do got some pretty big news for you guys.
All right.
On YouTube, excuse me, the Hexians and the Time Value of Money mockumentary is now on YouTube.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know
we did it.
I don't know what that means.
Tom Gillespie. You remember that guy with the red pants?
Yeah. The funny guy.
Yeah, the funny guy.
Yeah.
I think he's like a Australian or a Kiwi or something like that.
I don't know.
So yeah, his humorous documentary, or I call it mockumentary, because come on, it's not a serious documentary, but it's really good though.
You think so?
I thought so.
I
watched it a very long time ago. Maybe I was more naive back then, so maybe I need to rewatch it with a sharper mind. Yeah, guys, I know that's kind of an oxymoron with me, but maybe I need to rewatch it. That's all I'm saying.
You know, the last time Richard Hart streamed live, and I that was at the Hex conference where he asked me if my arms were so broken, whether I could still masturbate or not. That was in that conversation. It was I recommended him to see Hexians and the Time Value of Money. The Highest of Stakes wasn't out yet.
What was his response?
I had just seen it. He said maybe he'll watch it and maybe he'll promote it. So I don't remember if he ended up tweeting about it or not, but he was pleased to hear that that it wasn't a tragedy and that I liked it.
In the world where no one has a sense of humor anymore, I don't know.
I can tell you this. From what I do remember of it, I remember liking that one a lot more the first time I saw it than
Take It Back.
The other movie.
You take it back, Brisology.
I'm just saying, just the first time. The second time I watched it, I liked it a lot more. But the first time, I was a little hot under the collar when I saw The Highest of Stakes. So Hexians and the Time Value of Money mockumentary. It's on YouTube. Everyone should go check it out. Tom is he's a good guy.
That's a great piece of news. Yeah, I forgot that is out now on YouTube for free. Yeah, go check it out, people. It's a great way to spend, I think 4 hours is how long it is.
Never get those hours back. I'm just saying.
I'm glad.
You ain't lying.
I'm really glad we talked about this before Tobiwan got on, because he's one of the producers of The Highest of Stakes.
He would be fudding the crap out of it. No. That's not a good documentary. Highest of Stakes. That's the good documentary.
The judgment, you can't judge art.
No, I'm just joking.
No, not like that.
I think you can.
Well, I guess you can. I guess art is meant to be judged. Maybe that's the case.
I can judge art, and all your NFTs sucks.
Yeah.
Your NFTs, give them to me. No. Hey, speaking of which, right? I don't know if you've been seeing. I know I talked about this, so it is kind of like a shameless plug because I like this group,
Please.
but this 404 Mon. Which stands for 404, the type of protocol that doesn't really exist, but it's an ERC20 that they've been calling 404, like gophers.
Very clever.
This one's at 404 monsters.
Yep.
And very,
are they like Pokemon?
Yeah, it's kind of like Pokemon in a way, and the whole thing. But I'm really intrigued by it. Is kind of like I think I might have said this in one of the other shows. Kind of like branching away, like this whole thing, the 404s, being able to branch into real life in a way that we haven't seen before with NFTs. Basically because they trade as a token and as NFTs. It can be done both. They can have intrinsic value.
Yeah.
And so people who've been using the 404s, of course, if people sell them down, they're going to go down in price. And if they buy them up, they go up. But anyway, it's been really intriguing to kind of watch that. You mentioned NFTs, so that brought that to mind for me. And like these guys have plans to go potentially, right? Everything, who knows? They didn't do sacrifice or anything. But what attracted to me to it is it's got a Quattro Cinco. It's a nod to Hex and Pulse Chain. It's got a Quattro Cinco supply.
That's the max supply is 5,555.
Yeah, correct. And 180 of them have been burned or something, maybe more than that. And I haven't seen this type of thing happen before. The NFTs are all designed around ink, Pulse Chain, Pulse X. I mean, and for maybe some of us don't get it. I mean, hell, half the time I don't get NFTs, but but the idea that it's tied into it. But here's the thing: is I would say the three of us are like NFT idiots, right? So we're we're not. You like if I said to you, hey, start slinging the language and start talking about NFTs and understand what these guys are saying. They're speaking a whole different language. Now, of course, it might be because I'm old too, but what it opened up for me is
there's what they're saying.
There's a whole universe.
Base belong to us.
Yeah, all the base. Hey, there's these communities out there that go cross chain, like pretty nimbly, and it's probably because the NFTs have been living in their own space, kind of different from like tradable tokens and cryptos. Yes. And so like it's pretty common.
Cross chain like Zen?
Yeah, yeah, like Zen, exactly. That was my thinking. Cross chain like Zen. Well, maybe Zen, who knows what'll happen with Zen, man? It might be your money in another few years. And you put your Star Trek uniform on, you're out discovering the universe, man. Well, anyways, yeah. Sorry, we went off a little tangent.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that I heard, because I was listening while driving. I heard the founder of 404 Mon on Corey Costa's channel over the weekend.
Oh yeah.
And that was the first time I had heard him speak, so that was really cool. And yeah, I'm a fan of like the passion that he shows for the project. He was talking about why he did it and kind of some of his backstory as a founder. This is a theme that I want to, I guess, suggest to our community is that for me, I want to support builders more, because I think that's one of the ways that we make our chain stand out and be the best in all of the dimensions that it can be. We already know how Pulse Chain is better than other chains in terms of different dimensions. But when it comes to builders, I think sometimes we scare people away with negativity, and we've certainly seen some negativity towards me this week. So
Well,
that's kind of one of my goals. And I like, I want to plug gopulse.com because I feel like I use their website every day, but I don't talk about them every week. So
that's true. They're really
shout out
great.
to gopulse.com/portfolio.
Go Pulse. We love you guys.
Yeah. And speaking of that, right, a lot of times, so I think you can be forgiven for that, because a lot of times, it's just in general, people take things kind of for granted, but we also kind of run in like circles of influence or confluence that we understand, right? And so you're not always, you might be like aware of stuff, but I'll give you an example from my week, right? Have I been aware of 9inch? Yes. Have I participated in different things with 9inch? Yes. But did I have a full grasp of what 9inch is doing and how far they've gone with their stuff? No, I don't. But I learned a whole bunch of really cool stuff this week. Different types of things, which people can go to the website and look at it and go see for themselves what's there. But I mean, you could say that about all these different protocols. I mean,
you're talking about
knew...
9inch.io.
Yeah. 9inch. I'm sorry, Maddie. I didn't actually remember exactly what it was, except I would have guessed it was 9inch.io. But yeah, 9inch.io. But my point is there's a whole bunch of different protocols like that. Like, you probably don't know that a new OTC tool was launched this week, or you might not know. I haven't tested it, haven't validated it. It's from one of our DEX providers. And so now people can go do OTC trades. I mean, do your own research, check it out first, right? But that's kind of like a precursor to the future about what's going to happen, with as more and more people build these tools out. And then I'm hearing, like, if we were talking about there being 100 projects before, I'm hearing about 300 projects now. Like, that's not an actual count. So hyperbole, but I'm hearing about lots and lots of projects.
I am, inviting all of the builders, all of the projects to speak at the Pulse Chain conference here on this channel on May 10th through 13th. And shortly there will be a form available for people to fill out so that they can include information. There's already a speaker form available for people who have spoken before, but for the projects, I want to capture, a couple sentences about what they're about so that I can get the word out, that we can have more of a sense of who's here to build and what they're building, and make sure everybody gets their chance in the limelight here for the conference. We haven't had 100 projects speak before. We've had 100 speakers before, and so I know that it's rapidly approaching, but I think we're very close to the time where I'll be asking for your guys' help to get the word out to all the projects. Hey, come sign up to speak at the Pulse Chain conference.
Yeah, I'm gonna speak about a really cool project if you let me speak.
Oh yeah.
You know which one I'm gonna speak about?
I don't think you should let
Hexfire?
him speak.
No, I'm not gonna talk about Hexfire. I'm gonna talk about Hex, man. Hex on Pulse Chain. If I'm doing anything, I'm talking about Hex.
Definitely don't let him speak.
I heard from Patrick that he's got a really cool idea of how you and him could collaborate for Inc.
Yeah, he brought that up, man. Yeah. That's coming up too soon. Like that conference is like next week.
Not next week. No. But it's 2.5 weeks away.
Yeah. I guess some of us better get ready.
That's right.
Yeah.
I just want to say
I'm talking about Hex, Briz. I don't care about what you say. I'm talking about Hex because it is huge right now. People, oh man, if you saw you go read my tweet. My X. Go read my X when you get time.
All right.
His
Can,
post.
can you share your screen and bring it up for us?
Well,
I
sure.
just want to say I'm a huge fan of the builders. I love when people build awesome things for the pulse chain. I, however, am not a huge fan of just random shit coins being launched left and right by everyone and their mom, and more or less vampiring attacking Richard Hart's ecosystem for the most part. But with that said, if people build something that's cool and useful, I'm all for it. Like the Fame and Fucks guys, they got that whole exchange,
PHUX.
PHUX, the PHUX exchange. Also, like
Yuck.
9-inch, even though it's a little lackluster, and it wasn't as it didn't make as big of a splash as we all thought it would. It's still pretty cool. I'm glad it's there. I hope it lights a fire
I-
under Richard's feet and makes him want to upgrade
yeah.
Pulse X more. Internet
Lem-
Money Wallet. I think
Yeah.
that's a fantastic utility that they've made. And there's probably a couple other things that I'm missing. Oh, the Earn protocol. I think that's great. So I'm all for the builders. I just hate to see people trying to turn something really amazing into nothing more than degeneracy and like trying to turn us into a pump and dump central that scares away new investors because we're all just pump and dumps. I don't want to be the next Binance.
I think that the opportunity here is for the YouTubers to support the builders and for the builders to build great things. I think, for example, I'm a YouTuber and a builder, but I'm better known as a YouTuber. And I found a really cool use for 9inch.io the other day because the bridge buddy wasn't working. So like I was trying to do something where I wasn't connecting all my wallets, right? I wanted to have a little bit of pseudo anonymity on the blockchain, which is like, that's part of how finance works. Normally when you pay somebody or you do a transaction, they don't see all the money in your wallet or in your bank account or something. And so what I did is I bought wrapped pulse on Ethereum on 9inch. And another thing that I was proud of a 9inch doing is they have like a bridge. They have a bridge mechanism that I didn't know about. So it was a great user experience.
They have a bridge?
I see. Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
They have a ton of cool stuff. They have farms. I've used those. And then you've got the founder Hexy Bastard, who has been doing some sponsorships outside of the community. So he announced a sponsorship with BitBoy in the past couple days. And
is he getting 9inch tattooed on his other bicep?
That's a really good suggestion. They could be like bicep bros.
Bastard. Get him. Make him tattoo it on him. He will.
Somebody create the Photoshop meme.
I think we can get a good picture of him probably flexing at the fight and just have like we'll just put hex tattoos all over him.
There's a new DCA tool that a 9inch has as well that ChrispyMan and I are excited to learn more about in the future, probably.
DCA tool, huh?
So this is like you're witnessing an example of me going a little bit the extra mile of saying things that are true that I love on Pulse Chain. And it's cool for broadcasters to be critics, right? And all that. I just see a lot of things that we could be bragging about. And I also like another way that I supported a builder this week is I got other people onto Mario's Twitter Spaces that I've been doing, where there's like 4,000 people listening live, and sometimes over 100,000 on the replay. And so I got Hexy Bastard and Fashion Coder, and I was trying to get access to live all on the speaker list, basically, so that they can go out and tell the world about Pulse Chain and all the cool things that we do here.
I want to shout out two more builders that I didn't mention.
Please.
One, the 0x Coast guys. You guys are
Respect.
awesome. And the one of the greatest builders we have in Hexaco, and he's so understated because he's not really out there very much. Alec McWhirter, right? The Hedron.
I thought you were going to say me for a second, but
almost. I was trying not to. I held it.
I would have. If I was
going
to say underdog, I would say Future Us.
Ooh, good
That's
one.
True. He's another really great dev.
I mean, there's a lot of different people, and if we didn't mention it, it's not because we just
you know what?
Forgot.
I'm sorry.
I mean, there's a lot going on.
I do also want to actually add Maddie ALLin to that list because there's a bunch of stuff you've made that just kind of goes underappreciated, like your T-Share app.
Mm-hmm. His thumbnails. Yeah,
that is actually a really cool website, and even I don't even use it as much as I'd like to, but it's a really great website. And then
every time I end a hex stake or start one, I use go.tshare.app. Yeah, it's the front end that Future Us and I created many moons ago at the first hex mass meetup that we had in Las Vegas is when that launched. So that would have been June 24th, 2021.
The Hex Daily Stats guy, whoever the heck that guy is, I don't know who even made the website. That guy, he's a personal hero of mine. I use that Hex Daily website pretty much daily.
That's what's up.
So,
yeah.
The
conference schedule will drop probably a few days after we get the builders to sign up. So we've already got a ton of speakers, all the names that you already know across YouTube, and it'll be probably in the next week or week and a half when we'll have to have the schedule.
Joe Hexotic here says Hex Daily is Ryan Lopez.
Respect.
True.
Is that guy with the long curly hair in South America?
Yeah.
That's the same guy?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that.
It is awesome.
I thought he just worked out at the gym all day.
Well,
you guys freaking buff, man.
Well, he might be. I haven't been observing his body, Bruce. I don't know, but I'm glad that you have. I know that Ryan's been certainly behind that, and then of course Tagash, who's the postcards guy, right?
Oh, good one.
Right, he was involved with that as well. But currently, Hex Daily Stats is maintained by Key, the guy behind Stake Hex today.
He rocks too.
Yeah. I mean, look, we could actually, here's the cool thing. You guys are like listing people off, and I know people have different opinions, but you can come up with 40, 50 people, probably us brainstorming here, that are building like real good things that have added a lot of value, kind of like what Bruce is saying.
Yes. Oh yeah.
And probably have like 3 shows just talking about that, and never get through it all.
So BA has a interesting point here. It says using the DCA tool will be granting permissions for the contract to spend your funds on your behalf with 0 further clicks on your hardware wallet provided. We were always taught to revoke, and that's true.
I actually don't know how it works, so I unless you already know, I wouldn't start spreading information of like, it's a good like it's a good
Yeah,
caution
you're
to
right.
say, but
Yeah, I
we
don't
actually
know
don't know.
exactly how it works. In my mind, I figure it works just like the limit order, and you basically give the exchange permission
Yeah.
to reach into your wallet
We,
at a certain point in time in the future, without you
I
approving it. So
I'd rather not speculate on what they build until we review it.
true. So
Oh,
Look who we have here.
whoa, look what
that's it.
cat
A wild
dragged in.
Tobiwan Hexobi
Oh,
appeared.
thank God.
Better late than never.
Check out that mustache.
Well,
Can't
You're
hear you,
right.
Toby.
Your sound is super low.
is it super low? Hang on, I'll fix that.
My
Yeah, sorry,
mustache doesn't grow like that.
I had to bring the heat for Briz's mustache game. I couldn't just stay up.
Are you still low? Do you have the
I'm
right?
fixing it right.
Yeah,
now.
if you can
Selected.
crank that up. You're about at a 3. We need you at about an 8.
How about now? Is that better?
I think it
Yeah.
sounds good.
Should be considerably better. All right, cool. All right.
You know what?
So
Tam, I love you.
Aw, me? Wait, she had to type that before I came on.
It says
She was
Tam,
talking about-
not Tobe.
I know. Oh, what? No, I was talking about Tam. I'm saying she typed her message before I popped up. Like she was talking about you guys, not that guy. But I apologize for the lateness, sir. Sometimes you overestimate your ability to do things in the time that you were given. And there are certain things you cannot stop in the middle of, like making 8 pounds of beef jerky. So it was a mad scramble, but I got it done. And here I am, unshowered. So luckily you can't smell me because I smell like beef jerky marinade, which, depending on your peccadillos, as they say, that could be good or bad. But
That might
so
be
what I
the
missed,
greatest cologne ever.
yeah, right? I'm telling you, beef jerky
For somebody.
for somebody, for my dogs, for sure. So what
I
I
would
missed?
like
We've been bantering until you got here because
Just killing time. What? No.
Tam, you don't have to lie. It's okay.
Aw, she's too kind. Too kind. She just likes me because I still buy eHex. That's why, Briz.
There was a bet on how long it would take
no.
you to mention eHex actually
Wow.
in the chat.
Within 2 minutes, maybe under a minute and a half. That
Is your mic
amazing.
still still low?
No, I hope not. It should be good. Is
It's
that
a
better?
little low. It's
Okay, let me turn
tiny.
that up.
It's a little low, yeah.
A little low still. Okay.
Those are rookie
That's fine.
decibels.
Rookie.
Yeah, you gotta
decibel.
pump
We
up
need you
those
to
numbers.
pump up those decibels.
Those
Let me see what I can do here.
Joe
Okay. Oh, I see what's going on. Hang
Hexotic is a sound engineer too, so he's
Go
cracking up
Joe.
over here. Yeah.
Go Joe.
Never get it right on the first
Hexander,
try.
what's up? Toby's using an eHex mic. Ah!
Got him.
Right.
You know what we should do?
It's my first love. I'm a romantic.
We should ask some of these, as a different type of show, Maddie. Maybe ask some of these NFT guys on a future show to come on and do a whole thing. Maybe with Joe Exotic and a couple of the other projects.
We got a conference coming up, and that would be a great opportunity to celebrate the builders of NFTs, the builders of protocols, and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, Joe's got some amazing. He's got an amazing skill set. Great guy. Met him in person. Consider him a real life friend, and a very very broad skill set and very very creative individual. So yeah, it's good to see him in the chat. Hope to see him.
My
more
first
around.
episode of Hex Therapy Live, 177 weeks ago exactly, featured Joe Hexotic as my co-host.
Yep, I remember.
Yeah. Throwback.
Yeah, the good old days. It's so funny because I was doing some updating with my validators recently. For fellow validators, be aware that the Denkun update, I believe, has done its thing. So there is a little update, like whether you use David Feeder's script or RH Max or Gamma Dev Ops, is that his name? Gamma 4 or something?
Yeah.
But yeah, so if whomever script that you use, be aware, I'm sure that they've got their own version of how to go in there and update your stuff so that you can continue your job of validating the blockchain for everyone. And as I was doing that, I came quickly to realize, holy moly, I've been doing this for like 50 weeks. And I remember being on the phone with David Feeder trying to scramble to get my stuff in order. And he's like, dude, he goes, is your phone blowing up? I'm like, I'm on the phone with you, bro. It's like I turned my stuff off so I could focus. And then I checked and like I had my notifications silenced. And both of us were getting blown up because everyone's like, it's live, Pulse Chain's live. And it was just so funny because it's like, whatever. We got to finish this. So we banged out the rest of our stuff so I could get my validators going ASAP. And the rest is history. But it's so crazy because it does not seem like a year. Does not seem like a year.
Well, we're coming up. We're coming up on the first birthday, the launch anniversary of Pulse Chain, as it's called on the 13th of May, pulsechainconference.com.
I like it. I like it.
Can't wait for the conference. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Conference week.
Bringing together everybody who, doesn't always get a chance to stream together. It's a big deal. There aren't other crypto conferences like this one, like the Hex conference and Pulse Chain conference. So
none like this one.
None.
So, but Maddie, everyone's upset with you. Let's just talk about that big elephant in the room. Everyone's upset with you, Maddie.
I've been
Why
making beef jerky.
are you making everyone up mad? All right. Will you?
Well, I'm accused of forcing people to participate in a sacrifice for the freedom to sign. And
what? You're forcing them?
I'm being told that I'm broke and that I sold my DeLorean. Yeah. And what else?
Why else would you be doing a sacrifice if you weren't broke?
Right.
Well, have you heard of the freedom to sign a transaction?
For the first time just now.
Okay. Continue.
Well, yeah. So we've seen these hugely successful sacrifices in the past, and I'm measuring that based on like how much was sacrificed for Pulse Chain and Pulse X, which was really for the freedom of speech and the freedom of movement. And we've seen that Richard continues to defend these concepts and really live what he preaches. So it's really inspiring to see now who believes and who doesn't in doing something that has no promises, no expectations, and is again now here's an interesting twist. Okay. I'm a crypto psychologist, right? And I'm always trying to understand how people are acting in crypto. Like, why do people do what they do? That's the mission of psychology. And like, so my question is, why do people do what they do in crypto? Well, as it turns out, people have changed how they're acting towards the sacrifice because we're not in euphoria anymore. Right. And so all of the people who are obsessed only with price and they're addicted to the price and that's all they care about in crypto, they're just waiting for somebody else to pump their bags so they can dump on their follower or on, the newcomers. Those people, they are not participating in this sacrifice. And I'm very glad that it's separating the signal to noise in a way that I've never seen. I mean, this is an incredible observation that I'm able to make, that there are people who have been watching and participating in this 30-day sacrifice. We're on day 4 or 5 here. Time has been flying by. There are people that actually have no expectations, believe in the freedom to sign, and I don't know if they hate money or what, but these are people who, to me, really believe. And when I did an 1.5 hour live stream over the weekend, it was really incredible to see that there were people hating on me for publishing an address on the internet. This is part of the reason why crypto was invented, for people to be free with their money, to be able to do whatever they want with it. And there were people who like weren't just dropping one negative comment and then like logging off. They were like, they're coming up with new content for an 1.5 hours, telling me how bad I am for using crypto how it's meant to be, not just for gambling, but for freedom of speech, for freedom to transact, for proving what you believe. And so yeah, it was quite the beatdown, you could say.
There's a lot of bad people on Twitter and on the internet in general. You know what I mean? There's just a lot of people out there with a lot of hate in their heart. You know, maybe they're down on life, and they're just like not in a good position, and so they just come to the internet to just project all their hatred onto easy targets. So,
yeah, it's incredible how offended and how assuming people are to be able to tell other people what they're supposed to do with their money. And this has like, unraveled part of the mystery of why Pulse Chain isn't thriving, in my opinion, is because people aren't supporting builders. They aren't supporting freedom. And they're telling other people, they're like spending all of their time telling other people not to sacrifice to an address. Why else would they want people to stop doing that, other than they want their price to go up? They're valuing that more than they're trying to tell other people what to do with their money. Toby?
Yes, I have a thought that I think is brilliant. Do we have a lot of DeFi posers in the community that have exposed themselves?
Yeah.
So basically, what they really want is just to make dirty fiat and then go buy Lambos or upgrade their life in some way or flex on other people or just have more fiat, because they don't really understand or believe in the tenets of DeFi. Like we are beating the drum about all the time about changing the world and how you do that. So I don't know. Same. It gave me the same kind of cringy feels as when people were like getting after Richard for his sacrifices. It's like no expectations. I knew when I did it. Did I hope that maybe I would be part of this set and that there would be something airdropped to me? Certainly, I hoped, but ultimately that was not an expectation. That was like a lofty, like
Correct.
maybe, right? And that's the way it rolls, right? That is the way that it is done. He set the precedent for these types of things, and people have, by nature, the freedom to choose. So what they support. So what was really kind of discouraging, not discouraging, because my expectations of Twitter, by and large, is the bar is really low. I've been around long enough to like not get too wrenched by much anymore. I commend you for taking it on the chin. Like Hexobi, man, it's like that dude's brutal. Like nobody's safe. Like he comes after everybody hard. And and there was some funny stuff, but there was some stuff that was just mean. And most of it was incredibly uninformed, which was just like par for the course. Like, hey, I'm ready to judge a situation and an individual, and I know none of the information, but I'm going to be really, really vocal about my opinion on it. And then I'm going to like extrapolate that to like who knows what level of like just hatefulness. And it's just gross. So you know what? People sacrificed for PP. People sacrificed for liquid loans. People sacrificed for Mentra. I could go on and on and on and on. And guess what?
Yes.
High five to all of you. It's your fucking money. Do what you want to do with it. It's like if you don't like what someone's doing with a sacrifice, don't participate. That's okay. But just like, and I'm going to make this really, really brief, but the story that I like to hearken back to is being at the AIDS Memorial March in Washington, D.C. I believe it was 1995 or 96. And memory fades a little bit as I get older. Elizabeth Taylor was there. we were doing this march, and along the side of the crowd was the Westboro Baptist Church, and they had some of the most evil, vitriolic, hateful stuff that I can't even say out loud on. I mean, I could, but I'm not gonna on YouTube. Really, really gross signage, right? I wanted to go into that crowd and beat the teeth out of those people, but I chose not to. And my brother, who I was with, commemorating some friends of ours that we had lost, began with another friend of ours to sing "Jesus Loves the Little Children." And the whole section of that crowd calmed down with our candles and kept on marching. But the point of that story is, as much as I didn't like what I heard them saying, I would fight for the right to say it. Westboro Baptist, horrible. Don't like it. It's about as bad as you can imagine. But I would fight for the right to be able to say it. That's what freedom of speech is. You don't have to like it. But if you tried to take it away from somebody else, when do they come for you and what you hold dear? Yeah. That's DeFi. Fuck faces. Sorry.
Matt, can I
just saying, come on.
Can we talk about how, in my opinion, there's two different types of sacrifices, and how you are kind of leading the way on this one?
I think
well,
we don't want to get too much into the weeds on it.
Yeah.
But there's a comment that you highlighted, and I can address that.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you want to read it?
All right. So from BA here, he says, I think people were more annoyed because you failed to explain anything. I've watched every single GTG video and HT video for the last 2 years.
Yeah. So the first thing I would say is thank you for supporting, being a part of the audience. Like, we obviously believe in a lot of the same things. And, you know, I am deeply grateful for the community that's here. Whether people are participating in this particular exercise or not, that's completely fine. I also want to validate that this was a very common reaction, even among people who are very close to me in real life, is they were like, what the hell, man? This came out of nowhere. And it's like, you know,
that would be me, by the way.
Yes. For me, there is no inner cabal. Okay. Which is strange, right? Like, I am so transparent that it did shock people who are close to me, because there was no like inner group of people that got to find out about it early. And still, it's very vague in a sense, but in another sense, it's very clear. There are no expectations, and there's no promises. You saw in 2017, you saw people take people's money to make promises. They made websites, how they were going to deliver, you know, something for your investment. The ICO craze and stuff of 2017 and 2021. And it legitimately, so people feel like they've been left out of something. And I can assure you that that feeling might not last, because there might be ways to participate that just haven't they haven't rolled out yet. And that's kind of what the thumbnail and the title of the stream are suggesting to me is, you know, Toby, are you familiar with the poker term slow roll?
I am.
Do you want to explain that here real quick?
Slow roll is like where you roll your cards over really slowly. You don't show everything all at once, right? You kind of slowly reveal your hand.
You might have a winning hand, and you know, in poker, you're kind of an asshole if you let other people think that they won at first. But in business and other kind of contexts, it's simply it's an intentional strategy of not showing all of your cards at once. And, you know, some people might employ a slow roll strategy, you know, in a positive way, in a way that is proactive and not harmful to others. I'm kind of seen as a very transparent and trustworthy person. And so the title is also suggesting maybe that there are more clues that will be revealed. Maybe this is a 30-day test. Maybe there's a cycle 1 community forming. So yeah,
you do have a show that you've been doing for a very long time, literally titled Game Theory Gang. So
correct.
maybe people
There might be some game theory here.
maybe a little would be my guess, that you got some stuff up your sleeve on how to get noticed, to get attention for what it is that you're trying to do. I don't know that you expected the kind of backlash you got for, you know, from putting it out on Twitter like you did. I didn't expect it to be that hateful, but then I wasn't super shocked either, because people are, like Briz says earlier, I think people are just like looking for a target at this point, and a lot of anons out there and just hateful, you know, types are just trying to vent, right? Trying to like blast, and people pile on, right? It's easy. It's like you find somebody that, you know, for whatever reason that you want to pick on. It's like, and I always feel bad about Gold Key. I just wish he had a better sense of humor about things. And I think things could have gone very differently for that guy.
He showed support to me. So I was very pleasant, you know, pleased by all the people who are showing their signal to noise. Like there are people, the 10% hateful towards this, 10% are being incredibly loving and supportive, and then 80% are waiting to see what happens next. They're the undecided crowd that says, you know, they're not positive or negative until they find out more.
Yeah, I would like to just kind of point this out, because, you know, like you said, you've been intentionally vague. You're not really telling people like what is going on yet. Even I don't even know that much about it yet. But I, you know, you did tell me about how basically you're more or less protecting yourself by doing the sacrifice in this particular way. It's a very legalese type thing, to where other sacrifices like Richard's, he says, hey, I'm building this thing, and when this thing launches, you don't know what the performance of it will be, but we know what the performance of Ethereum is, so it might be similar. And that
let me clarify some like phrasing there, because that's not exactly what I've said.
Well, I know that's not what you said, but
okay.
I just want to throw out my whole thought real quick, and then you can tell me if I'm right or wrong.
Okay.
And so when people see a sacrifice from Richard, like how he has done it, and pretty much every other sacrifice from all these other people, they see what is about to be built. And then they have ideas in their mind about the potentials it could go to. And then when the SEC comes after them, they go, you know, people had expectations of profits because of blah, 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 blah. And in my opinion, the way you're doing your sacrifice is like, hey, I'm doing a sacrifice. I'm not telling you what I'm building yet. If you guys want in, you want in, but you guys have no idea what the heck I'm building. Therefore, you can't have expectations.
Let's delete everything you just said.
All right.
Okay. And then let's go to what I've actually said, which I'll just throw it up on screen here for a second. So this is a finished product. This is it's very clear here. It says you must have no expectations. You get nothing. You are proving your belief in the freedom to sign. You're not sending from an exchange. You used your own keys as your signature to publish your address in a set of free speech users. You signed the list of what I most deeply believe in. And there's a certain like a type of coins that are on the list to get game theory points. There's a time bonus that's not harsh. it goes down 1% a day, and there's a volume bonus that goes in between $500 and $500,000. This is a 30-day period of sacrifice from April 20th to May 20th. So there it is, and there's the same address on Ethereum and Pulse Chain, and matching ENS names and PNS names, where you can go to freesign.pls.fyi, and that's a website where you can copy the address without having to type it all in or something. And so that's I've never made a post that got these many views. 104,000 views on this one.
Wow.
And everybody was talking about it. But yeah, the point of the matter is, this is a finished product, and it seems like I do everything a little bit differently, and try to optimize everything that I do. So it's you might imagine that it's this is for people to show how much they believe, and as the title of the show suggests, there might be more clues that people might put things together, but
I just think that might be the ultimate way to do a sacrifice, is to just tell people, hey guys, I got a sacrifice. I'm not telling you what I'm building. You in or you out? And then people can't have that.
I am telling you what I'm building. I'm building a list of people who believe in the freedom to sign. Okay. So it ends there, right? That's very clear.
You making a list of people that how could that
you're
go
making
wrong?
a list?
Checking it twice.
You're putting yourself on
If
there.
you participate, then you are helping create that list.
The thing that I can say is that this is going for 4 weeks. There's
a list
there's
of
some
addresses,
really
not
some really cool stuff that separate from this. There are some really cool things that I might announce on Saturday. And
Cool.
You might imagine that I want everybody to be able to participate in the amazing things that I'm building, right? As a builder, I did not just build this finished product. I did not just build the other finished products that I did, go.tshare.app, timepays.me, all these conferences. So I think everybody who's paying attention, who wants to participate without using money in the things that I'm building, they will get this really incredible opportunity that I'm aiming for Saturday to announce at noon Central Time to get people using crypto in a way that they've never dreamed before. So
And
really excited about it.
A lot of people are really
Intrigue.
sour on sacks, but quite honestly, my biggest regret was not sacrificing all of my liquid hex when I had the chance, because that value got preserved at 33 cent hex when Pulse X launched, and so basically, just FYI, if we do another 90% drop, who knows, maybe your value might be preserved.
The value isn't preserved necessarily. It's that you sacrificed, you proved what you believe in, and then lots of people came along and gave you things for free. Like 0x Coast gave you something for free with their weight token. Poor Pleb came along and gave you something for free. Texan Token came along and gave you something for free. Pulse Chain and Pulse X came along and gave you something for free. So it's it's because you were part of a decentralized set of users, and builders came along and they said, wow, that's the coolest list of people I've ever seen in the world. What I'm building, I'm going to give away to them, the people who believe in what I believe in. And that's freedom of speech. Shout out to Arturo.
question.
who says, I went ahead and participated in your sacrifice. I know not to expect anything. Is there a sacrifice checker to verify the time bonus %? The time bonus goes from 4:20 noon Central Time. That's when day one start. That's when that's when it started, and so the time bonus goes down 1% a day, starting at 30%. So I think that that statement is a finished product. Anybody can come along, like Zero X Coast did, like Texan Token and Poor Pleb did, and Pulse Chain and PulseX came along. They looked on the blockchain and they said, this is how we're interpreting the points. This is how we're interpreting the rules. This is how we're distributing our tokens. So there is not one source of truth on the points. It's something that is based on the builder who comes along and values your participation in this set of users. So there you go.
There we go.
Toby.
I feel like I should have a question after that.
Yeah,
maybe
right.
Maybe because my brain is muddled with liquid smoke, but and that's an ingredient in beef jerky marinade. In case you wonder.
Well, hey,
but
you might have been thinking this. You might have been
Yeah, go
thinking
ahead.
this, Toby.
Yeah.
So I'm not even looking at Matty Allen because I don't want to know nothing about what he's doing. I'm just going to say, this is what could you use?
You can look at
a
me.
list.
We can act like
Okay.
it's match game, and we can just
Yeah.
look at each other.
What could a project or somebody use a list of addresses for of people that have decided to sign that list? What could it be used for?
Well, here's what I'm thinking, and I'm speculating. Everything else has resulted in like a token being airdropped, but knowing Matty, he does things differently. So I don't know that that's how this is going to play out at all.
Well, no,
And-
he's explicitly said that he's not launching a token. So
well,
that's
then
been
there it is. Then there
that's
you
been
go.
very explicit. But I'm saying to you
I told
is
you
in
I've been out in the week.
in the real world, right? What would I use a marketing list like that for potentially? I mean, there are a lot of different things, a lot of different ways.
Right.
I could use that list. I could use that list for airdrops. Not Maddie. I'm just saying other people.
Other
I could
people.
use that. I could use that list. Of course, airdrops gets the most attention, but to potentially communicate issues with things with, to include members in. If I had secondary protocols or something, I'm making up words, but I mean, they're real words, but I'm making up the combination. But if I had some sort of other thing that I wanted to do, I could use that, that list for some basis, Anyways, I was wondering what you thought about that.
Yeah. So somebody's saying in the chat, like, you purposefully made it all very confusing. I think people are confused because nobody's done this exact spin on it. People usually promise something. I'm not promising anything. And, but what I can tell you is that you are signing yourself to be on a list of people who believe in the freedom to sign. I believe in the freedom to sign. I am encouraging people that I've onboarded into crypto. I'm encouraging them to participate in this. So that's, that's what I believe. And I believe it so much that I'm, putting my personal reputation on the line and my reputation on and off stage. So that maybe that helps people to like understand, to make it a little bit more clear or understand that, yeah, and maybe it was confusing at first. Maybe that helps clarify it.
I mean, from my take, and it's like obviously it's like Maddie and I are friends in real life. We've hung out together in person and stuff before. So obviously I've got a little better gauge of the bullshit meter. Like if somebody was like, if someone else was doing this that I didn't know as well, then maybe I'd be like, I I don't know about all this. It's like
I'd be
'cause
sharpening my pitchfork.
Ooh.
you lighting your torch, getting the crowd together. But yeah, it's like I think I would be a little more sus of like, okay, what's going on? Like, what's the point of this? Because everything else had a pretty clear path. Like, you sacrifice for liquid loans, and then you get tokens, and then you can use those in their protocol. Mentra, blah 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 blah, down the list. And with this being different, and this is, I think, where I'm trying badly to impart my experience with knowing Maddie as a person and as a friend. Even if this doesn't result in me with some sort of financial benefit at the end of the road, everything Maddie's ever done has benefited the community. And subsequently, one could speculate that if you are helping grow the Hex community, then that is indirectly affecting bags you probably already have. So my thing is like, it's not that I trust Maddie, but I trust his history and his intent of like what he's done, and we've seen over and over and over for years. So that's where it's like, and I haven't sacrificed yet, but I intend to. I intend to throw something in there. And I'm very curious about what is to come.
Maddie has
Saturday.
built up more social credit with us. Xi Jinping would be proud.
Thank you, both.
Yeah, A++.
Those are kind comments. And it kind of another take that people had, because right, Sami was coming to my support. He was, and kind of hinted that even though I haven't always said nice things about him, which I feel bad about, he's like the real deal. He's a good dude. And so he he mentioned it like 4 times, 5 times, made a couple of videos about it. And so I really appreciate the people who are out there, like, trying to call off the pitchfork sharpeners, as Brisology put it. I've done donations before, and this is not a donation. And so some people were reporting like, oh, it must be a donation because he's broke or something. And that's not the case. But yeah, in terms of like my reputation being built up, like, I put on a $250,000 Hex conference, for free. I had the receipts to prove it. I took on financial risk during that. Like, I was willing to lose tens of thousands of dollars to bring the community together that still holds the title for the biggest Hex meetup of all time. And even the God Whale was so kind as to donate to the Hex badge fundraiser that I was doing. So certainly people know that I've been here for years. I've time locked my Hex for like 12 and a half years. So it's I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, Maddie, you've brought a lot of value to this community, probably almost more than anybody besides Richard Hart himself. Just especially with all your just online content, with all the conferences you've done each year, and now you're doing the Pulse Chain conferences, and everything has been free.
Yes.
So, you've brought a lot of value, and you've built things, like we said, the Time Pays Me and your T-Share.app. Is that what it is, T-Share.app, or is it different?
Yeah, you got it.
That's it.
It's all up in here.
Hey, can I address Mr. Baracus in the chat? He's a little suspect, and I get it. And but here's the thing: it's like I could see how somebody that maybe doesn't know Maddie as well personally, or hasn't been around to just kind of experience Maddie's involvement in the conferences and online and what have you, could say, oh, wait a minute, was this like purposeful outrage marketing? Did it all start with future dev, future us, bouncing, and then Maddie giving his heartfelt thing, and then like was it all this cleverly crafted thing to just like build this momentum to get 140,000 views or whatever on your announcement.
Was it just a show, Maddie?
I don't think so. I think that all of those things are organic and almost like serendipitous the way it came together. It's like I don't know Maddie to be someone that would be disingenuous with something that heartfelt and that important to him. And also, I mean, I'm gonna kind of fill in the blanks between the lines, and Maddie, stop me if you think I'm saying too much here, but it's like basically there were lots of influencers that got subpoenaed, right? And were being questioned about being paid by RH for promoting Hex, which we all know is nonsense. So one could assume that maybe one of those people that had been on that list that, you know, was uncomfortable and burdensome for them is going to be extra careful with language. That's kind of the way that I'm reading it. Like, so he's going to be very, very certain, like, that what he's doing is following the letter of the law to avoid things being more complicated than they need to be. That's my take on it. And I don't think any of this was manufactured. And quite frankly, I think all the backlash and the hate on social media was actually like a blessing in disguise, because it just got everybody talking about it. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't think he knew the heat that was coming. And quite frankly, since I was kind of out of pocket for a lot of it, and I came in late, I'm like, oh my God, Maddie's getting roasted. He's my friend. I need to make a tweet. I need to say something, you know, because I just felt bad. And I'm like, I hope he's not just huddled in a corner somewhere feeling wrecked over this, you know, because it's like, because social media can do that, man. It's like when you get people ganging up on you, online bullying is like a real thing. And it's like, and it can affect you if you don't come at it with the right expectation. There's that word again, right? So I was really happy when I finally spoke with Maddie that it's like that he was taking it in stride and he was rolling with the punches and the jokes, and he wasn't taking anything too personally. And that it did, you know, in my interpretation, really was kind of an inadvertent outrage marketing thing, you know, because it's like now everybody's talking about it, everybody wants to know more. But as I just said, maybe he's being a little cautious with how he's, you know, sharing the information. But he just said, hey, also pay attention, because he said there might be hints even in the stream. I'm paying attention because I want to know more, and he's not telling me anything else that he's not telling you guys. Yeah. He said Saturday there might be something, so I'm like, okay, and now I'm intrigued. Like, okay, what's coming Saturday? I want to know more. But do I go ahead and do now, or do I miss like 3 or 4 more percentage points, you know, on my sack bonus? So it's got my wheels turning. So it's like whatever it is, I think it's all gonna like help more people become aware of it. And my guess is, you know, and you can hold me to this, I bet whatever it is, it's Maddie's going to be doing something to try to make the world a better place and probably pump all your bags at the same time, would be my guess.
I think it's dog with cats.
No. I would never make people choose between dogs and cats.
It's like a 4-headed dick with butts.
Thank you, Maddie.
And that's all of us.
Yeah. That's one thing I can promise. So, yeah. And then, you know, going back to this idea of like the minimum sacrifice to be on this list is like, well, that might be communicating that this list is, you know, valuable to the people who are documenting their free speech. And, you know, people pay $500 to be in groups that teach them something, you know, and this is not a group. This is not, you know, it's not, this is no expectations still, as it says.
Maddie,
and
I hear you're
that doesn't mean that everybody won't be able to participate. And I think that's a really important message that wasn't communicated at first, is that that I don't tend to leave people out.
Well, it sounds to me like you're gatekeeping the average American, because the average American doesn't have $500 in their bank account.
Well,
what do you got to say about that?
Score 1 for Briz.
Yeah.
All I can say is that the ability to participate, it might be free in the end. And that doesn't necessarily contradict the value of the people using their free speech. You know, it's like ChrispyMan asked me after the 1.5-hour stream that I did, where I was responding to the haters. he asked like, so do you want people to sacrifice or not? Because I had said a couple like sarcastic things in the stream, like if you don't believe, then don't sacrifice. I'm glad you're not sacrificing if you don't believe, right?
Right.
And so when I rewatched the stream, I picked up on that kind of like that statement. And
Well, it's like here though. It's like, if you don't like it, get out. It's like hit the smash the like and subscribe or get out. It's like it's that same kind of vibe is how I took it.
What I've said is that that people in my personal life who I've onboarded to crypto, I would onboard them to this and have and will. So that's maybe making it a little bit more clear that that I practice what I preach.
And because Maddie is so, like, his integrity is maddening at times. But there's detail. I mean, like, it's like I got a loose idea of kind of what I think's coming, but it's like he's not disclosing anything. I mean, maybe Crispy and Briz have more info, and we'll talk in the green room, and you guys are gonna tell me.
There's no inner cabal with me.
Okay, no, I know. Well, I mean, I'm like, tell me, right? Like, tell me if nobody. But just from what I know and what I'm thinking, it's like, okay, if there's this tease now, I'm trying to like read between the lines and like pay attention to what you're saying. If there's a way for people to participate for free, and they're going to know more about this on Saturday, then that makes me think like, okay, I want to sacrifice, but personally, I think I'll wait till Saturday to like hear more, because it's like if there's a way for me to participate for free, then why would I not do that, right? And it's like, but I also understand like the barrier to entry with $500 because that goes back to like R8 stuff. It's like people value something that they have to spend money on. It's like for me, for example, I replaced my total gym. There's boxes of like parts of it right here. Finally, after like 25 years, I got a new total gym. The old one was like getting rusty and looking rough.
I've seen those boxes there for at least 4 weeks now,
dude,
buddy.
The new unit is 180 pounds. It's like I need like a couple guys to help me even bring it into the house and set it up. But it's like these are like the accessory parts. So it has been a couple weeks. But anyhow, the thing is like I could have got the same model I got before, which wasn't crazy expensive. But this time around, I'm like, you know what? I deserve it. It's like I'm rehabbing my back. Everything's going well. I did the stem cell deal. And I'm going to be more likely to get on that effing thing and use it if I spent, $3,000 instead of $500. So I was kind of playing that same trick with myself. And I know that that's my deal. Like, I know that that's how I work because I'm frugal. So it's like, if I'm going to spend a lot of money on something, then I am for sure going to use that thing. If I don't spend a lot of money on something, and like, if I'll send out a tweet, you guys can come to my garage sale. You can look at all the bullshit that I've acquired over the last 25, 30 years, where it's like I bought something and it was super cheap, and then I never came out of the package. Didn't even
you could go outside and walk for free, or spend $3,000. You're gonna put your ass on that treadmill.
Dude, Total Gym's legit, bro.
Let me answer the question of like, why would you participate now if there's this this clue that there might be a way to participate for free on Saturday? And the answer I would have to that is by looking into the past and seeing, like, I think some of the builders out there, they airdropped just based on participation alone, not based on the amount that you sacrifice for freedom of speech and freedom of movement. Like, if you're on the list at all, then, or if you were on any list associated with those sacrifices, like, you got a certain number of PP tokens, you got a certain number of weight tokens, and it didn't matter like the strength. And then, whenever Pulse Chain and Pulse X launched, not everybody got the same number of points. Not everybody ended up getting airdropped the same number of tokens. And so that's kind of like, a way to look at it as some builders included everybody and based on their volume, and others, it was just whether you did or didn't participate. So
yeah, that's right. Now, because it's like Weight did that, I think, where it's like if you participated in other certain sacrifices, then that made you eligible to claim Weight. So okay, so that makes more sense. So there'd be a way to get
Corey
it.
Geary?
But to get broader exposure, then you would want to participate in actually sacrificing something.
So
typically.
yeah, and I'm gonna be scheduling tons of streams with different people. I think that that I'm really excited to talk to. I know I'll be streaming with Corey Geary and Money Talk Dane, who they have great experience seeing. They were streaming the other day about like, are people sick of sacrifices? And their whole point was like, don't beat up on builders. Like they don't know what I'm building. And, but in general, they look to see what have people built before, what's the track record. And so I'm really excited to stream with them on Monday. I'm going to be streaming with Uncle Adam coming up on Monday, maybe his time. So maybe that'll be
You
Sunday.
know Uncle Adam?
Here. Yeah. Adam Stokesy. Adam Stokes.
Stokesy.
Yeah.
What
I
about,
like
he
Adam
has a
Stokes
ch-
he's a
chicken.
cool guy.
what about
I guess it's
BitBoy?
different. I guess it's different Stokes for different folks. Huh?
I think BitBoy would be a good one. Like he's doing his Pulse streams and stuff now, right?
I already went on with him. Yeah. That
Oh, did you?
was,
Okay, cool. I told
that
you
was
I've been out of the loop.
before this last Saturday.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man. There's just so much going on in crypto out there, as Maddie's discovering. Right, there's lots of angles to get out in front of other communities, and I know that makes me uncomfortable wearing my hex hat, but my pulse chain hat says, yeah, we got to get people in.
Right.
Let's go.
Yep.
Oh, hey, I also want to bring up an important topic, unless you guys have any more questions about the freedom to sign.
I'll say this one last thing is that I've thought about sacrifices a lot, and I'm actually pretty pro sacrifice model. Yeah, it looks like a lot of the sacrifices, haven't really done really great things, but I think the sacrifice model is kind of unique, and I think there's multiple benefits. Like if you give a founder, millions of dollars in a sacrifice model, I personally feel like they have less um, motivation to rug pull it, and also I think the sacrifice money can be used in beneficial ways to help keep the project alive through the harsh bear markets. But it requires management by the founders, and maybe the founders don't want to manage that sometimes, or maybe they're just managing it in different ways. But I think the sacrifice model can be a very good way to launch a coin if the founders do it. T-Dog, he said,
That must be a really general statement because I'm not launching a coin, but
no,
here-
that's just
here,
yeah. In general statements regarding all
Yeah.
sacrifices. I'm not talking about yours.
I think the T-Dog comment here refers to a Teddy Roosevelt quote, or somebody who was like, the man in the arena is a real G. So
He says, it is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is at least trying.
The man in the arena.
Hey, T-Dog, I'm literally stealing that and posting it to Twitter, and I want to tag you, but I don't know what your handle is on Twitter, so drop that in the chat if you would like to be tagged, because that's a great quote.
And include like Google it and get the man in the arena part.
Yeah, it's like who deserves the credit, the food critic or the chef slaving in the kitchen, right?
Yeah, that's my thing. It's like I'm one of the, I was a bartender for years and then a bar manager for more years. And, one of the things that I always loved about that job is that there was a certain level of respect between kitchen staff and bar staff, because they both made something, right? Where wait staff, like everybody kind of had the same vibe about them. Like, all you guys are doing is picking up the shit we made and going to make more money off of it than we are, right? So, but yeah, I've always had a tremendous amount of I really hold dear people that make things, right? Like people that are being creative and making things. and building and trying, because it's like if you don't try, like, then you're gonna have a less fulfilling life. It's like, and I know it sounds cliche, like, if you fail, try again, bullshit, whatever. But it's true, because like the biggest regrets in my life are like the things that I didn't go for. It's the things that I learned the most from is the things I went for and failed. And then of course it's greatly rewarding when you go for something, really put all your all into it, and it's successful. It's like there's nothing quite like it. And especially if it's like, I mean, that's where, not to just fluff Maddie for the rest of the stream, but it's like that's where I have so much respect for Maddie, is like, because he puts himself in the line of fire sometimes, whether he's doing it. I don't think he ever does it on purpose. I think he's just a genuine, kind-hearted person. So to quote Richard Hart, the chat is mean as hell, right? It's like the internet is mean as hell, and like it is not a place to show any kind of vulnerability or any kind of like anything that's not like uber masculine, and you can get attacked, right? So it's like he puts himself out there and he is constantly trying to do good, and I think, I really, not to get all gay about it, but it's like I really feel very, very thankful to have Maddie as a friend and all these guys, and to have the connections I've made because of the Hex conferences, online and in person, that Maddie put together. It's like it's often a very thankless job. I know there's tons of people that love Maddie, and I know he gets tons and tons of support. I get it, but but I think he deserves even more. I really do, and I'm really excited to see what this does. I wish I had more dry powder to like throw at the sacrifice, just because I think whatever it is, I think it's gonna do good things. So I'm gonna
yeah, I think there are some big
I'm gonna have to
players
reassess
that have
my DGen moon bags might have to get liquidated so I can sacrifice more.
I think that there are some big players on the sidelines that are maybe signaling that they'll participate, and
well, that's
maybe
where my head's going with it, because it's like, you've got like, Godwell helped with the Pulse badge thing, so it's like obviously you're on his radar. So it's like, it seems to me like, why would he not want a piece of this, right? Action to see whatever it is and to support it. And then there's other people that have been big supporters of yours, and other, a friend of yours and who I'd love to meet someday, that helped with Austin, with getting the movie tickets and helping Austin come together. I don't want to disclose who it is because I don't know if that's been made public, but it's like, a big early Hexagon. He's in our movie. He's in Highest of Stakes. But it's a really, really amazing supporter of good stuff and a supporter of Maddie's. So yeah, I think it's going to be really cool. I'm excited to see what it does. And it's like, I'm all about like trying to make the world a better place and helping people out. And I get that, like, people could look at it like, oh, there's this barrier of entry of $500. Well, you don't know like how else this could help other people, right? We don't know that yet. And it's like, if my speculation is correct, that it's going to bring more attention to Pulse Chain, and you guys are watching this stream, there's a pretty good chance you've got some exposure to RH core tokens. Then just the drag on effect of it all should get more eyeballs. The whole idea with Richard doing his outreach marketing was what? More eyeballs. Because, there's going to be a percentage of people that hate it, but there's going to be a percentage of people that are going to look deeper and maybe invest. And then there's going to be people still that look deeper and say, oh, wait a minute, he also did this Hex thing. What's that about? And then they learn about T-shares, and then they build a staking ladder. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's just like levels of how deep. Like, I've got onboards that are on the periphery, literally never got anything but eHex still. And then there's people that went all the way down the rabbit hole and understand all of it, like as well as I do. I've got a couple of my students, like I call them students, that are like, bing, like they are awesome.
So I guess the next question, Maddie, is when do we get to see you in a Gucci tracksuit?
I think Joe's got
really
one for
my
sale.
thing.
Does Joe have one for sale? Where's Hexotic? I gotta bust his balls a little bit.
I've got everything I need already. And the support, it means a lot, because I've never gotten beat down on the internet as badly as I did on Saturday. So I really appreciate you guys, saying kind words. And again, I want to emphasize, nobody has to participate. It's not being forced. And I think it's cool. I
think it should be
people
forced.
in my personal
I think it should
life
be mandatory.
Yeah,
I think it should be mandatory for anyone.
It's based on freedom in the first place.
Right.
So,
Right.
If you think you can tell other people what to do with their money and what they're allowed to use their crypto for, then maybe we're not on the same team after all. Maybe we don't believe in the same things, but for me, freedom to sign is super important. So, yeah, again, thanks for the support. It's really been a blessing. And you know, the other major like product that I've come out with, Time Pays Me, it you know, it's got a 7-day lockup. So if I announce this on Saturday and the you know, $2 million that's been locked up in there wanted to participate, it would take a week for the money to move, and it hasn't even been a week yet in this sacrifice. So yeah, I think a lot more participation could be coming, and so really excited to see how people play along with and without any financial contribution. A forced sacrifice is holding fiat. That's a great point.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's true. You really are sacrificing your money if you hold it in fiat.
You know, the other big news that I wanted to get to today is that Nosis Safe has finally done their airdrop to make the tokens tradable. And look, there's already one person in the Hex community that I know of that was hacked because of this. The Nosis Safe platform, it's supposed to be so secure and help you out, but they couldn't even get their Twitter to not have an impersonator right in their comments. When I posted on Twitter, a impersonator that looked very, very close to the real thing, like it could have tricked me, they posted under my post and they had already blocked me. So I had to go into a different account to even see that the comment was there. So my audience could see that the comment was there, but I couldn't. This is a major security vulnerability in the way that Twitter works and the way that Nosis Safe delivered the news, unfortunately. So here's what you need to know. If you didn't get the points a year and a half ago, in between like a year and a half ago, then you don't qualify. You had to have, you had to go in and do something. If you just had a staker wallet, that wasn't enough. That was enough to qualify to free claim the points. But if you didn't free claim the points, then unfortunately you don't get anything. I have some wallets that didn't get anything because there was a problem being able to get the points. I did have a wallet or two that does have the points. And so starting last night, at like, 2 a.m. Central, you could go in and you could redeem the points. You could unlock your safe tokens. Now, the only place you're going to go is the website safe.global. Safe.global. And you're not going to type it into a search engine. You're going to type it into the address bar. And anywhere else like that is a safe global dash this and that is a fake phishing website that will drain your wallet. So if you qualify, be very careful to make sure to go to the right website. It's very easy on Twitter to click on the wrong thing. And then, yeah, I mean, it was, it was about $3,000 on average is what Steph reported that the average staker user got worth of tokens. And the Nosis Safe people, they kind of copied Hex and Time Pays Me to some extent, because they're doing a drip of the airdrop. So not only were you able to claim about $3,000 worth of safe tokens last night or anytime now, but they'll drip out to you over, I think, a number of months or years. And so that's an extremely valuable airdrop that people in the Hex community, many people are getting. And that's good for everybody, like we saw with the Uniswap airdrop, because it enriches the community. And if there are more people who are rich who like the same coins you do, then that might be good for the price at some point.
Right on. Yeah, I saw David Gelfand, mentioned earlier, like that sign was the way people were getting rinsed recently. So it's like, just to be clear, for Maddie's sacrifice, you are not signing anything. Like you're literally sending to a sacrifice address. So it's freedom to sign that that's what you're participating for, but there's not a thing that you have to sign. Correct, Maddie?
Like you by clicking the button to send a transaction, you are signing with your private key. And then that's the PNS name is freesign.pls. But there's no smart contract interaction that's happening, which is what
Right.
people think of when they're signing
Permissions and right.
a permission or something. Correct.
Right.
Yeah. Thanks
Right.
for
Okay.
clarifying.
Yeah, got to be really, really careful. And the thing is, too, like even if you see links that look like they are the right link, it is always better to type it into your browser yourself. Like
Correct.
it's just, you can't be too safe with this stuff. It's terrible. What we've seen recently, with Nerd Girl getting rinsed. I can't remember the name of the guy on Twitter, but I saw that, and I felt bad about my comment later. But I'm like, I tagged Papa B, and I'm like, clean up on aisle 4. I'm like, that was, maybe I should have been a little more, commiserate with his, bad situation. But at the same time, it's like, man, it's like everybody by this point, you gotta know to like be so cautious with like what you're clicking on and like where you're going and what you're connecting your wallets and stuff to. It's like, not to be harsh, but it's like, you've been around that long, then you should have known this. And it's like,
I don't blame the victim. I do
Yeah.
feel really bad for Nerd Girl, I love her. And
oh no, I'm talking about the other guy. It's like Nerd
Oh,
Girl
yeah.
was kind of a different. I mean, that was a
It's-
more convoluted, terrible situation. And I mean, like, but it's like if you're walking to the, you get out of the grocery and it's late at night and you're not paying attention and it's like and there's somebody lingering around your car and you're on your phone, same deal. It's just a lapse of judgment and then you're putting yourself at risk. So it's like it could happen in any number of ways to anyone. So it's like I feel terrible when I hear it, but like in crypto, particularly, there's like this part of me that's kind of like, dude, we've been out here beating the drum forever to be cautious, like to use hardware wallets, to do these things to protect yourself. It's like, so it makes me like, I've got conflicted emotions about it to where it's like, it almost makes me mad. But at the same time, I'm like, dude, I cannot imagine what that would feel like. Like I've had nightmares. Like I've woken up like thinking like, oh my God, it's like I got rinsed, and it's like, it's the worst feeling to even imagine. So I mean, for it to happen to people, it's just, it's a terrible, terrible thing. And I mean, the only silver lining is we're at the depths of the bear. So, hopefully they can rebuild some bags and, participate in the bull run and kind of, find some sort of silver lining in the bad situation. And obviously improve their security going forward.
Anybody who wants somebody with tons of experience in crypto marketing can reach out to Nerd Girl 007, no vowels, right? In her name, NRDGRL 007 007, because she is an expert at crypto marketing, has years of experience in the field, and she is looking for work to get paid in crypto to help make up for the hack where she lost her life savings in crypto. So
cool.
That
cool.
would be that'd be great.
I just thought of something that I will reach out to her about. So,
cool.
Yeah. Got to help each other. She's also been one that's been around since the beginning and has been really supportive of Richard Hart and the whole RH ecosystem, and is a really incredible writer, and has really put the work in to help move the ball forward with DeFi. And
no, you know what I don't like about Nerd Girl though?
What?
She'll have a negative interaction with a random dude on the internet, and because he has Hex in his name or something, she just paints the whole community. Hexicans attacked me. Blah, blah, blah. Just like,
just like an eye for an eye, and the world goes blind.
Right. I'm going to tell you something.
All jerks.
I'm going to tell you something though.
She is the queen interaction.
But she is the queen of engagement bait. Like she I used to have a problem with that too. Like, what are you doing, man? It's like, this is not a good narrative. And it's like, that's not accurate. But it's like, there are times I've seen her get in these exchanges And it's like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing. Like you're keeping it going because then like it's getting more clicks and getting more, you're getting more follows out of it. It's like her own little version of outreach marketing, I think. But it's like I don't think she honestly thinks the majority of Hexicans are toxic. But there's plenty of toxicity around on the
I
internet,
don't know.
Hexicans
She's
and
pretty
otherwise.
good friends with Eric Wall.
Well, but that's a good connection to have.
Is it?
I mean, if you're
Is
trying
it?
to get more followers, I mean, I'm not interested in that, but it's like if you're interested in getting a bigger following and like keeping your name out there and doing those things and building her own brand, it's like I get it. I can see why that happens. Those kinds of things. I mean, Richard still communicates with Eric Wall, so everyone's got their reasons to build bridges or burn them.
I've got to. I've actually got to celebrate a birthday with somebody today. So I was wondering if maybe we could wrap up this show a little bit earlier than normal. But we still got another 10 minutes or so. If you guys have any other news that you want to get the word out about.
I saw someone like grumbling a little bit that we weren't talking about Hex, but it's like it's like Hex is doing its thing. It's like if you want, I'll post on Twitter like a new TA update on all the RH products. I think they're finding support. They've busted through resistance and they're finding some support now, so they're all looking really good, all of them. So I think that this is a good sign moving into the next few months when Bitcoin normally does like its crab walk sideways after its pullback after the halving. So I think it's bullish.
I have something interesting to report on. This is actually kind of like talk about crazy people. If I can get everything's in focus except for me. That's the way I like it. Mandela effect. Briz was never actually here. Right. No, one of the things that I saw happened this week, and I'm actually surprised we haven't even mentioned it, but Bitcoin did its halving.
What? On 420.
What's Bitcoin again?
Bitcoin. But here's the interesting part that I thought was very interesting because it's just people, it's just humans, crazy humans being crazy. On the block after the halving event, people were trying to, I guess, inscribe on Bitcoin and get their message into the very next block after the halving, and people, I think the number one person sent in 37 Bitcoin as a transaction fee just to inscribe on the Bitcoin halving block. That's crazy.
Whoa.
Think about that.
That's an outrage.
That is outrageous. Because
I am outraged.
There's so many starving people in the world. These crypto dorks are wasting money just to put a message in a block that no one else is probably ever gonna read.
But is that free speech? Should I where's the line to be able to criticize how other people are using their money?
There is no line. That's what's great about free speech.
They can
criticize them and they can do whatever the fuck they want.
Criticize the hell out of anybody. That's the beauty of free speech.
Take that, Bitcoiners.
Right. But it's like, also, do you want to be an asshole or do you want to not? So that has nothing to do with free speech.
yeah. I mean, the line for free speech is only 10 Bitcoin. It's like after that, we gotta say something.
Right. Yeah, pretty much. Well, Maddie, I think we should let you go do your birthday celebration.
Well,
stuff.
I got one thing before we go.
No, Crispy.
No, shut it off.
Got some good stuff here.
Okay.
Well, I would just say, yeah. I just think we should all get all our crap in one bag. You probably heard that comment before. Hey, so there's an asset that I'm looking at. This will just stir people up maybe a little bit. So, but it really proves if people get behind something, boy, we could make some stuff happen. And I know we've kind of been talking about this subject about Hex, Polsha, and all the rest. But I'm looking at this asset, and it's 3,052x up from the low. and 137x to $1.
Oh, that thing.
Yeah. So the whole P die, right? The pulse, the fork copy of die from Ethereum that had no value, quote unquote, on Pulse Chain. My God, people. I mean, listen, I'd never told anybody to go out and buy it. I mean, I picked some up early on, as we talked about, right, in the early streams, but it's up 3,000x. So without getting into all the other junk about things people do in their bedrooms, right, and all that stuff, about what might happen with that price, man, a community got behind that. You know, part of our community got behind that, and people sent it in a direction, and they kept the pressure on. Sounds kind of like early Hex, huh? I mean, I'm not equating those two communities to be the same. I'm just saying
The
that
conviction's solid, though.
I mean,
yeah,
man,
for
it's
real.
gone. It's just ripping. I mean, like you guys, we're gonna wake up. You know, I think it's like a very high percent chance it, you know, breaks $1. Now, of course, people are gonna sell it down, of course. But that's crypto anyways, right? But I mean, it's just gonna be incredible to watch that thing actually go there, and then we'll have to wait to see if there's a part 2 and a part 3 and a part 4 of the story. But yeah. That's my exciting observation. That and on the hex side, Maddie, for everybody who has not been paying attention to that, I did a big Twitter post, X post on that. I mentioned to Bruce about that, kind of like a 6-parter. No, not a lot of words, but just outlining what's going on, what we all know, that staking is down and T shares are going down and rewards are going up, and that it may be, I know it's contrarian just to talk about staking at all, never mind hex for a lot of people. Of course, I'm a miner, right? And I know it's super contrarian to be talking about mining for Quattro Cinco, but at least from a numbers perspective, whew, you know, if I was to listen to the way people talk to me, you know, and the kind of crap they give me, nobody's ever going to mine again for Quattro Cinco. Nobody could put any T-shares out in 2039. And if that truly happened, my T-shares are going to earn well over 6,000 hex a day. And in theory,
What?
Nice.
right? My HT share would be well over 6,000 hex per day per T-shirt. So yeah, at some point, somebody else is going to figure it out and get some T-shirts out there too.
Well, I'm staked out there, so I'll be there with you.
Dude,
I'll be seeing you, bro.
So just living the dream. I did a Quattro Cinco stake last week on eHux. Yes, I did.
Wow.
I did, Briz.
Respect.
I did. Well, because
Nice.
here's the thing. These are yeah, I know. The thing is you know, I have the hex that comes out. I have a ladder, right? And yeah, it's crypto. I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, I could have brought it over to the Pulse chain. I have done that before, but in this case, I went out and also getting my restake bonuses for Calm, because that was another reason I wanted to do that. And then I'll do that on Pulse chain next round, you know, to get out further. But I guess what I'm getting to is we currently have so little T-shares out in 2039. The first 6 months are so low that it's incredible, right? And so what that means to me in a game, talk about a game and not money, right? Because I don't know what prices will be, is that if I'm playing against you guys, if you don't get your T shares, I'm gonna have more, and I'm gonna have them cheaper, and I'm gonna have a ton more hex. My stack will look a lot bigger. So at least from that game perspective, so I find that quite interesting. And yeah, Khalil, 6,000 hex per T-shirt in theory, because that would assume that nobody else ever staked again. But of course, we know that's not going to really happen. But the longer they delay, the bigger the share that I have in that period of time. So I love it.
You heard it here, folks. 1,000x on T-share payouts.
Hey,
Yeah,
why
dude,
so bearish?
that is 1,000x, isn't it? Yeah. Man.
Why so
nice.
bearish?
Pretty nice, right? But I you just inspired me, Crispy. I think something that we ought to do, I should dust off the old spreadsheet that Bree and Juan Fernandez started. That was the beginnings of StakeHex.today, and we should do that as though someone was coming in brand new to Hex right now. And so you can kind of lay out like, because everyone like looks at the previous performance and like, oh, it's down, and it's like everything's just kind of clouded with this like bad juju around it, and like just people shitting on the notion of staking. But all the tenets of it still hold true, and the contract works exactly as intended. So
Nothing's
it's like,
changed. Yeah.
So if you literally, I mean, and this is like, and I throw this out there every once in a while, probably more often than I should. Richard gave me some kudos for my little elevator pitch, which was, Hex amplifies your gains to the upside, and it's a hedge to the downside if you're staked. Because, if you're earning on average 38% APY, Hex price could literally go down 20% a year, and your dollar value would be the same. So if you think we're near the bottom, it seems to me like it would be a really good time to start getting some T-shares, because, those are going to be earning more than whatever you bought higher. So without even looking at the older stuff, just like a new investor coming in, you put in $500 at these levels, what's that look like over time for varying link stakes? I think would be interesting.
You and I have talked a whole bunch of times, and I don't know. I think I look at things differently than a lot of other people. I've always tried to be looking from beginning to end, not end to beginning. So like, I don't own the prices. I mean, they're not my prices.
Right.
So when we get to a top, I choose not to mourn, because I went to 40 cents, 46 cents, 50 cents like everybody else. I choose not to mourn that number and celebrate just how much higher it is from the time I had gotten in. And yeah, I know people have gotten in at different points, they have different price points, but they're, from a DCA perspective, they're people doing really, really well. I mean, like, they're still up. Even at these prices. Imagine what happens if when there's a resurgence,
Yeah. Let's go. Go
Cool.
Hex.
Cool.
That's see my background has X on it. That's it.
It'd be fun to dig back, like just to, like call it basic training or something, just like going back to basics and like really dig into it. Because I mean, there's probably some people that don't know. There's probably people that are viewers now that maybe are relatively new to your subscriber base, right? That are here for Pulse and Ink and all the other stuff, and maybe they don't know as much about Hex as we're assuming they know. So probably wouldn't be a bad idea. And that's always part of my onboarding with people, is explaining the value in Hex and staking. So exciting or not, I think if people learned about it, they would get excited.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Well, hey, and I see Christopher's talking out there in the chat. Hey, just for the record, we weren't saying everybody run over to ETH, but curious, because Hex is really on both chains, and the Hex, the one we're celebrating, is on the Pulse chain. There's actually fewer T-shares on Pulse chain, and they're on Ethereum side.
You don't say.
Yeah. Now out in Quattro Cinco. And so what that's beginning to represent is how many people are short staking on Pulse chain, shorter time periods, and not going in for the long time because they're chasing all the shiny stuff. And it's unfortunate, but I need to be reminded sometimes that when I chase shiny things down the drain, I usually fall in. Right? So it's just a lot of people doing a lot of things, and eventually they may come back to, that Richard, he had a pretty good idea. Time in the market. Maybe if I did nothing and spent my time improving my life, it would be better than chasing charts. And anyway, but that we could do a whole stream on that.
What a positive message.
It's super positive, man. I still think Hex is the thing myself.
Well, another great episode, 109.
Happy birthday to you.
Yeah, and
to your friend.
Yeah, not my birthday, but yeah, thanks for that. And stay tuned for Saturday. Saturday is going to be a big day. And where can everybody find you guys?
I'm primarily here. Oh, Briz, go ahead, please.
I'm Briz. You can find me Brisology on Twitter. And I'll just say I want to leave you with one final thought. All right. And that is I was in the shower, I was smoking a joint, and I was thinking, are these US quarters, like with the special things on the back? Are these like government issued NFTs?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Interesting.
Way
Good
ahead of their
final thought.
time. That's why.
Yeah.
That's how I know Bitcoin is a government program. Next.
Hexfire.io, man. Here on YouTube, out there on the X, and the website is hexfire.io. Come check it out.
I am primarily here on Tuesday nights with these fine gentlemen. I also do a small segment called TA with Tobiwan with DJ Cryptomatic and Papa Boner and Peter on What the Hex on Thursday afternoons, 4:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then less and less, you will find me on X, which is at Tobiwan_Hexobi. But maybe I'll be on there more after I find out what Maddie's got cooking. So
Yeah.
happy to be here as always.
Awesome. Well, yeah, stay tuned. And until next time, stake wisely, my friends, and peace out.
Slow roll, Maddie.
Rolling. Cam is my favorite.